Josh
Hi.
Brown. What is the worst movie ending of all time?
Have you guys ever seen the smash hit movie Morbius? It's Morbin time. This flick, right, obviously is not very good. It's a Sony Spider-Man spin-off. They're never good. Even the main Sony Spider-Man movies are usually not very good. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to make a superhero movie. And Morbius is exemplifying all of that. But what makes it like absolutely atrocious in my eyes is the last minute clearly slapped together end credit scene where the movie itself is bad, but it's forgettable, it's kind of inoffensive, it's whatever. But then they really pissed me off because they suddenly do some multiverse shenanigans thanks to the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. And they take Adrian Toomes, as played by Michael Keaton from Spider-Man Homecoming, and they have him transport to the Sony Spider-Man universe where he appears in a cell in this crappy effect where they've clearly got him for like half an hour. They've got Michael, you've just turned up, act for us. And he's like, what the hell's going on here? And then he gets freed, and you have this final sequence where Mr. Morbius himself, Michael Morbius, is driving across the desert to meet someone. And he pulls off the road, and he's waiting, and it's dramatic. And then the Vulture flies in, and he's in full gear. How he got that gear? Dunno. But he never takes his mask off in this scene, right? Because they clearly didn't have Michael Keaton again. It's just a Michael Keaton dub. And unfathomably, Michael Keaton's like, hey, Morbius, do you want to make a team? Do you want to start a team? And it's like, what's going on, man? Like disregarding whatever happened to Michael Keaton's Vulture in like the Spider-Man movie. Like even where Morbius as a character ends his own movie, it doesn't make sense why you would be meeting with this guy in the first place. But it pissed me off genuinely, just because I thought like Sony's so bad at this, and it's such a shame because I want them to be good. But I'm kind of fine with that when they're doing their own thing, where they've got their own universe and they're not kind of infringing on Spider-Man stories, but to take something that people really love from the MCU and kind of say, no, we're having that, we're going to do our own thing and do it as poorly as this. That's when I just think, oh, this creative partnership is not working. That said, make Morbius 2, I'll be there day one.
We're getting Craven.
Oh, we're getting Craven!
Madam Web, mate.
Hey!
Madam Web.
Madam Web is gonna own.
So the question is, what is the worst movie ending of all time?
Worst movie ending of all time. What did I put for this one? Oh, yes! Yes, okay. So, the worst movie ending of all time. So, Predator is my favorite action movie ever made. I think it is just an exemplary, like everyone talks about Die Hard, also by John McTiernan, as being like the movie that changed the action genre forever. Kind of forgetting just how subversive the original Predator is as an action movie. You know, it basically assembles this immaculate group of badasses, you know, the most honed physical athletes of the generation, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, and it has them get torn apart by this alien slasher. It's fantastic. And I like Predator 2 a lot as well. I think it's quite underrated. It's just a insane film. Like, if you recall in the first one, Arnie has to like match wits with the Predator. In the sequel, Danny Glover just punches them in the face, and then they respect him so much that they give him a cool gun as a parting gift. Predators I don't really care for. It's just kind of a boring retread of the original, and they really waste the premise. And then they announced the Predator like a few years back, and I was like, okay, Shane Black directing, fantastic, love him, and he's also in the original Predator. He did some script doctoring work. I thought this would be a match made in heaven. The Predator is an abysmal movie. It's really, really bad, and it's bad because it doesn't feel like a Shane Black movie. It feels like something that's been engineered to MCU-ify Predator. It's very much a case of we're going to add in as much zany comedy as possible. We're going to, you know, do all that, and then also try and start our own little universe, because we have to have a shared universe for everything now. And the way they do this is the movie ends, and then we come back to the main character, and he walks into the secret government facility that we were introduced to earlier in the movie, and they find this Predator package that was left behind by the fugitive Predator, and then it comes alive, and then it latches onto one of the scientists, and then it becomes like a Predator Buster suit, and it just is a guy in a Predator suit, and now he's meant to be another Predator. You know, the original idea for that, they were going to try and bring Arnie back as Dutch, and it just that fell through because I imagine Anya looked at that and went, no. And there was also potentially talk of them like having Ripley from Aliens show up as like frozen in the thing, and it's just bad idea after bad idea, and somehow this is what happened, and it's just really, really bad, kind of just emblematic of just how terrible that movie is. But at least we got Prey. And, you know, I say that Disney refused to put it in the cinemas because Disney suck. But, yeah, I mean, the Predators ending is just terrible. Like, just a big CGI sludge fest. I have no idea what Shane Black was doing in that movie. It's a massive shame. And, yeah, I want more Predator movies. Give me a cool Predator movie set in, like, feudal Japan or something. Just do a whole anthology thing. Just do a different era for... Let's see how they got the piracy thing. Let's do some Predator Pirate. Predator Pirate. That's gonna be $1 million idea.
Predator on a boat, I'm so in.
Yep.
I'm so in.
He's on a boat.
So Joe, what is the worst movie ending of all time?
Well, one of the worst movie endings, certainly. It's not, you know, this isn't a terrible ending to a great film, you know. This is the ending to Star Trek Into Darkness. Bad film title, bad film. And of course what they do at the end of that film is, after they've gone through everything, it was a very forgettable film mostly, but of course, right near the end, Kirk dies from being like stuck in a radioactive chamber, is that it? It's to stop some kind of meltdown. Someone fill me in if I'm wrong here. But anyway, he dies in front of Spock, which, if I remember right, is the inverse of what happens originally in... It is in Wrath of Khan, isn't it? There are Star Trek people standing behind that camera who are nodding to me, which is helpful. So anyway, Kirk dies. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, oh, look, this Tribble's got, like, magic, like, regenerative stuff in it. And then they go at Kirk's body and basically immediately get him with the stuff. And he's back to life. Literally 5 to 10 minutes after he died. And it's like, that is the worst type of backpedaling you can ever see in a film. It really frustrates me, you know. Yes, we all know that Kirk's going to get brought back to life, but you know what you should have done? Leave him dead at the end of the film with, like, a bit of a tease for how we might get him back, right? And then bring him back in Star Trek Beyond, also not a very good film, you know? But, like, the fact that you have this devastating thing happen, and then you just have to go, oh, but that might make people too sad. Let's make it all okay again by the end. It's ridiculous. That's sub-Disney levels of cowardice. You know, it's absolutely spineless. And they do that in modern Disney movies as well, where, like, the terrible tragedy happens, and then everything's okay again 5 minutes later, you know? I remember The Lion King, when the tragedy happens halfway through the film, and it lingers over the entire film. Like, don't do that. Don't make everything okay. Don't give me a twist or a gut punch and then immediately rub my tummy afterwards, right? It's bad. It's very bad structuring, and it sapped up what little goodwill I had remaining after that quite effective Kirk death. So, yeah, a bad ending to a bad film.
What is the worst movie ending of all time?
The worst movie ending of all time. It's not even a bad film. Grease. What is that ending all about? Right, before we get into the deeper part, apart from the singing part of the film, it's a film it's real. It's, you know, it's not a space film, it's not some fantasy sci-fi film, it's a real film. So why does the car start flying at the end? Like, that's not a reality situation. I mean, I know the singing part, but you know, it's a musical. But that final part, what? Why are they flying? But that's not even the biggest issue I have with the ending of that film, okay? Most films, whatever form they're in, there's some sort of subliminal messaging of some description. Generally, most films are made with the intention of making you think about something in life, or, you know. And generally speaking, it's a positive thing. It's a good thing. What is the message of Grease? Change yourself to suit other people, everybody. Hey, Sandy. Don't be yourself. Just change every aspect of who you are to please a man. What kind of message is that? It's such a happy film. And then it's not just Sandy. He does it as well. he changes who he is. He goes to try and change to be happy. And I don't really think he was genuine about it. I don't know how long he would have stuck with it. But what is that all about? There's great positive, let's have a sing and dance. By the way, everybody, what we're going to tell you here is the opposite of what anyone in your life will tell you. Change yourself to suit everybody else. Who you are doesn't matter. But as long as everyone likes you, it's all good. What is that all about? So yeah, Grease. Grease is just a great film until the end. And they ruined it.
What is the worst movie ending of all time?
Ride or die.
Mi Familia?
Mi Familia. Go on. So, I watched Fast 10 recently. Have you watched Fast 10?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Do you know what? Coming into Fast 10, I'm a Fast apologist, I believe, and I will fly a flag for those films because they're silly, because they're stupid, they're fun. And it's just, if you go in with that mentality of what's the stupid thing they're gonna do there? Coronas, beers, barbecues, whatever it is, I'm here for it. The ending of this film broke me, and it made me leave this franchise, maybe forever. I don't know. We'll see what happens next. But if you don't know, sorry, spoilers, it's a rather recent film, but at the end, it's looking like Dom and his son may die because there's a big old dam that's broken and exploded because Jason Momoa's Joker guy has just sent off this rocket, I don't know, and there's explosions, it's all coming down, the dam's coming down, what's gonna happen? I don't know. Tune in next week on Fast and Furious. Thing is though, everybody who's died in this movie, ever, has come back. So you're asked, as an audience member, to suspend your disbelief. Oh my god, these people might not make it to the end of the next movie. We've got to tune in and see what happens next. And literally, the scene after, a character who died returns! I was baffled. My head fell right off, and I literally turned to my partner, who nodded off at this point, midway through the movie, and poked her and said, as a joke, ride? And she looked me dead in the eye, no ounce of irony, die. Is what she said. And I cannot sum up that ending any better.